Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. So we've had a couple of days to enjoy the alpha. So let's now turn our attention to some lore and what potentially might be coming up in the Shadowlands. Now let's start this off by saying this is for fun. This is for shenanigans, for giggles, for laughs. There is no inside source that I have. There is no Discord rumor mill. Purely, this is just some things we think that might be interesting to see, or things that Blizzard may decide to do. So let's just get into this. We're going to start with the biggest one, right out the box. The one that they haven't really said anything about. And that is Arthas, the former Lich King. Yes, the wielder, the once wielder of Frostmourne, wearer of the Helm of Damnation. And what is happening to him currently? Is he at the mercy of the jailer and Sylvanas? Is the Banshee Queen getting her revenge, torturing him, twisting his nipples and giving him wedgies? Is he wandering the moor, a lost soul? Personally, I would like to see, if nothing else, just some interaction between Jaina and Arthas. BFA, without shadow of doubt, was a dumpster fire, especially for story. The zone stories were good, but the overall story arc was just so bad. But one that did stand out. Was Jaina and her returning to the family that she supposedly betrayed. It was this storyline that made me want to even try an Alliance character, just so I could see this firsthand. And I will say this, if you haven't seen the Jaina storyline, then definitely, and I'll put a link to the description actually, go and check out Noble's video showing the whole questline from start to finish. It is absolutely outstanding. Now, as a final cherry on top of that story, it would be great to see her unite with Arthas. To kind of put to rest that final ghost. No actual pun intended there. But it'd be nice to see her just put that to rest. So, you know, she's gone through all of this, and her father would be there as well. It'd be good to see all of this. Arthas and, you know, her father, and just the final full stop on that Jaina story arc. It would be amazing. It'd be absolutely fantastic. Now, sadly, if we focus on purely Arthas, I can see some Blizzard redemption story arc, you know, a twist of positions between Sylvanas and Arthas, very much as they did with Illidan. Now, I can imagine Arthas returning as some sort of Forsaken Lich, you know, reuniting with his sister, who's now leading the Forsaken. His body's in Stormwind. We can dig it up if we wish to. You know, and then taking up again the role of Lich King to stop the Scourge from overrunning Azeroth. But this time, it's Arthas doing it, trying to make amends for everything he did before. Would I like that storyline? I'll be honest and say, good God, no. Good God, no. I was never a massive fan of the way Illidan came back as a good guy. Oh, everything I did in the past, well, I was being good. You didn't know it, but everything I did was me being a super good guy. Now, I loved Illidan returning, don't get me wrong, but they should have had him as the self-serving, power-hungry, you know, I do it my way, as long as the ends justify any means. That was Illidan to me. But then again, I do love an anti-hero. To me, a character is far more interesting when they have this good-bad side. You know, they've got both. Then they are more like us. When we can relate to their actions. Even if it's something that we wouldn't do ourselves. Like, for instance, Arthas. I mean, Arthas is one of the best characters they have ever done. We can understand his motivation with the culling of Strathhome. We can understand why he felt the need to chase after Morgannus and go to Northrend. We can understand why he felt there was no alternative but to pick up Frostmourne. You know, by that time his path was set. But we can see, we might not agree with it, we may not have done the same thing, but we can understand his motivation, his doubts, why he's doing each of these things. It's why culling of Strathhome is one of the best storylines in gaming, full stop. And it's still argued over. People say whether it was the right thing to do or not. If you turn around and just say, well, you didn't know it at the time, but everything that Arthas did, he was being a good guy. He was trying to beat Nazul. He was trying to stop the Scourge and the Legion and everybody from taking over. and he held on to that locket of Jaina, just to remind him of why he's such a good guy. No, please, God, no, don't do that. And I am reassured by the fact that Blizzard have said we need to do this character justice. There is nothing data mined about Arthas being in Shadowlands. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't in it in some way. But for them saying we want to do the character right, we want to do it with a level of respect, gives me some reassurance. But if they do go down that redemption arc route, that sort of lazy storytelling, it just undoes so much great character development with Arthas. And it undoes all the work done with Warcraft 3 and Wrath of the Lich King, and that would be a great shame. What I would prefer, if they are going to involve Arthas in this in a big way, is Arthur's been sat in the moor or wherever he has been, and he's been thinking on his actions, torn between believing that what he did was right, that he did it for all the right reason, but wondering why he ended up as the Lich King, and knowing all the harm he did and all the pain he caused as the Lich King, and he's just been in this constant cycle of torment. And then, of course, we have the interactions with, him and his father, him and Uther, there's so many characters we can go through, but him and Jaina especially. And in the end, he turns around and he says, okay, look, you need this essence, this anima, this spirit, if you're going to forge anything of true power in the Shadowlands. I'm going to give you my spirit. I'm going to give you my soul, my essence, my anima, to create, with the help of the Forger, a new Helm of Damnation, or whatever you want to call it, if you want to make it something more bright and cheerful. But, use me for something good in this world. And then we can have Bolvar putting that helmet on. And at the end of the expansion, he's fighting Sylvanas. And let's just really go crazy, because this isn't going to happen, but let's really roll the dice here and just say he's got a new Frostmourne style weapon. And as he's fighting Sylvanas, she's once again winning. She is hocked up on jailer juice. She is unstoppable, and she's beating the crap out of Bolvar yet again, and just laughing at how pathetic he is. And, you are nothing to me. You work with these pitiful lives of the living, and they're nothing to me. All the usual stuff. And then his voice would change. Bolvar's voice would change, and he would say something like, I should have given you the clean death you begged for when we fought outside of Silvermoon. And I didn't then, and I won't now. And she's like, what? What? She's like, takes a minute to look, wondering what the hell is being said, why it's being said that way. And then he just turns around, yours will be the only soul Frostmourne 2.0 will hunger for, witch. And of course, all of a sudden, that voice of Arthas coming through the helm into Bolvar, that's she suddenly just flashes back to that moment when she was killed by Arthas and her soul was trapped and she was become this banshee queen. And in that moment where she just hesitates, Bolvar just cuts her down, trapping her soul in Frostmourne 2.0. Like, that would be, I would accept that. If they do it well and they do it right with the correct build-up, I would be all for that. And then kind of the last flicker of that, the spirit disappears from him because he's used it up. He was just hanging on or whatever. You could do things with that, but that would be a really cool way to do it. And not every character, I will say this, not every character that has died in the history of WoW do I need to see a deep story for. I would be happy if we don't even get one for Arthur, so we just have him there, and literally we just have that moment with him and Jaina. I would be happy with that, and I say that as a Horde player. But I would like to at least see a nod to them in some way. Thrall being faced with Garrosh, and maybe even Grom. They just sat there, round the campfire, and Thrall's just like, whoa, hello. Garrosh just sort of nods, and Grom just sort of nods, and you're like, that's cool. I like that. And then we just move on. I would be happy with something like that. I would love to see Cairn and Thrall. And even if Cairn can't understand it, Thrall's just literally just nods at him and just says, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then we get, Ked talking to Bane and just saying he's proud of him. Just simple little lines that can just give us we know the greater feeling behind it. We don't need these massive, great overarching storylines. There's so many fantastic things. You know, some fantastic storylines that they can do. You know, if you think about all the old friends and foes that we faced along the way, especially that all these characters have faced along the way, almost like looking back at the road we've travelled. If you take Shadowlands, this might be reading too much into it. If you take Shadowlands as this crossroads in WoW, and they can look back, both Blizzard and the characters can look back at all these different characters. Vol'jin, I'm looking at you, and think, did we do them justice? And is Shadowlands a way of us saying yay or nay, and just showing not just the past, but also the way ahead, the future, where we're going to be going? This, I think, is what I'm looking forward to the most, to see how they bring these long lost characters back to life. And I think, I gotta say, for me personally, one that is going to be particularly poignant will probably be Ysera again. Her death in Legion and the cinematic that went with it was amazing. Just absolutely fantastic. And I think seeing her again, and I'm hoping a little bit of storyline that goes with that, will be brilliant. Will be absolutely fantastic. Also, as a story nerd, I want to see what is happening with Vol'jin and the continuation of that story. We've got Arthas coming back, and we know he's going to be in the first raid. But supposedly we're going to be saving him, because we can't beat him again. That's just unfair. And again, I say this as a Horde player, for once we have an Alliance character that is maybe having a darker moment. And that is Tyrande. Tyrande's storyline I have loved. I think it's been fantastic, the way she's turned to the dark. Something we don't see very often with Alliance characters, and her seeking vengeance on Sylvanas, but also trying to find out why Mother Moon has forsaken them. There is so much to look forward to. We haven't even got to things like the weapons that have recently been released, or the transmogs that have been shown off in Wowhead and MMO Champion, and they look breathtaking, absolutely amazing. There is just so much. Just so many reasons why Shadowlands is shaping up to look like an amazing expansion. Hopefully, we will still be saying this when the dust of the beta settles. And fingers crossed we all get the chance, and I've said this before, fingers crossed we all get the chance to give feedback as soon as possible with regards to alpha and beta. Because the better the feedback, the better we can make this during the alpha and the beta, then the better our experience is going to be for the next 2 years. And that's what we need to focus on. That is me done, everybody. Oh, there is so much story I could just get lost in with Shadowlands, and we're literally only a couple of days into the alpha so far. So much speculation. But please, by all means, put in the comments down below what you guys are thinking, who you're looking forward to seeing. I've missed a huge amount of characters, that even just quest characters that I would like to see back. And literally, as I say, just a little nod. But have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. Watch some alpha. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be able to take a look at the new starting zone, the Exiles. But that's me done. Have a good one, everybody. I'll catch you all later.